Alright, today I want to talk about this right here, Mazdaspeed. Ignore the 6, just Mazdaspeed in general today. It's extremely cold today. Don't worry, I warmed up the car enough. My coolant will get hot soon. There's a little bit of driving. I'll take it easy though. So Mazdaspeed, right? Mazda's performance division that they unfortunately got rid of after 2013 with the last version of the 2nd gen Speed 3. Now, what's really unfortunate is that I don't think they'll ever bring it back. And if they do, well, I have my ideas on what it would be, but I don't want to talk about that for right now. But Mazdaspeed didn't just have the Speed 6 and the Speed 3. They had multiple cars. And I think the most fascinating one would be for Mazda fans is the Mazdaspeed Miata, but I'll get to that one because before that there was the Mazdaspeed Protegé. Now that car is special. Way more special than this car. And the reason for that is because it was only made for 1 year, unlike this car where it was made for multiple years. And it was only around 4,500 units made. Wow. It's just, people do some interesting things. So yeah, basically very little were made. And they were very rare even back then, because I don't think people were really looking for that, you know? I think a lot of people were just buying the regular Protégé at the time, at least based on what my father told me. He was around, I wasn't. And it was actually really unimpressive for it being Mazda's real first attempt at a turbo 4-cylinder. It was a 2-liter, not a 2.3 liter. And its specs are very uninteresting, to say the least. It had 170 horsepower. And I can't remember the pound-feet of torque. But it was a sedan. Not a full-size sedan. It was a mid-size sedan. It was small. It was about the same size. Now this is the interesting part. It was about the same size as the Mazdaspeed 3 is in a hatchback form. It was very, very small. It looked cool. It had a spoiler. It reminded me of the non-speed Mazda 6 in its design. The regular, well, not the regular, because you could have gotten it without a wing or with a wing, but before the Mazda 6, the Mazda 626, which my father did own. He owned 2 of them. One with a spoiler and one with the old circular Mazda logo in like this not so pretty brown copper color. Can't really remember, but it was around that shade of brown. Now the other interesting thing that I find interesting is that I believe the Speed Protegé was actually the blueprint for what the Mazdaspeed 3 became. Essentially, it was a front-wheel drive car, just like the Speed 3. The only issue is it didn't have the technology. I believe if Mazda had direct injection and better ECU management back in 2003, we would have had the Speed 3 a lot earlier. Because Mazda was all about racing and fast cars back in the day. So I don't believe their engineers would have struggled as much as they did with the Speed Protegé. the Speed Protegé is essentially like their project car, is what it feels like to me. But that's just me. There's a lot of similarities there. I'm pretty sure if you guys looked it up, you would probably feel the same way as me. But yeah, that was Mazdaspeed Protegé, came out in 2003. Now let's jump to the Miata, which was the next release, which I'm pretty sure everybody's looking forward to. And the Miata is pretty cool in its own right, because it's essentially what we have today for the Miata, but turbocharged. The specs are almost the same, at least horsepower wise. This Mazdaspeed Miata came out in, I believe, 2005 and 2006, or 2004, 2005, something like that. No, I think it was 2005, 2006, because it came out alongside the Speed 6. So the Mazdaspeed Miata is the only factory turbocharged Miata ever made. I don't think Mazda will ever put a turbo in a Miata again, and if they do, it'll be for financial purposes. It'll just be another version of the Miata you can buy for more money. You know, it's just how these companies work now. But yeah, for the enthusiast, a factory turboed Miata, that's pretty cool. But with how easy Miatas are to work on, and with how large the aftermarket is, I don't think Mazda will ever put a turbo in it again. They're like, just put a turbo in it yourself. You know, it's not gonna kill you to do that. Now the Mazdaspeed Miata had 174, I can't remember. 170 range, 170 horsepower. No, at about 173, because the 176 horsepower compared to the Protegé, which is, I was noticing, I couldn't believe it. The Miata was a lot more powerful, a lot more. Well, was a lot faster, I should say, because of its size compared to the Speed Protegé, which blew my mind. You put this much torque and horsepower into this tiny little Miata, but now you have this big for being compared to a Miata sedan with less torque and less horsepower. It was pretty interesting to see. But that's another reason why I honestly think the Protegé was a project car for Mazda. It was like, let's start here, see what we can do with what we have, and let's build from here. It's essentially what it seems like. Mazda was playing around with turbos in the early 2000s. They were throwing one in almost all of their cars, except for their, you know, standard road cars. They were using, I think it was Ford's V6. But for their enthusiast cars, they were throwing turbos into everything, experimenting, and that was what made Mazda cool back in the day. Now, the Miata is not as rare as, nothing's as rare as the Protegé when it comes to the Mazdaspeed lineup, but it's definitely probably one of, or the coolest Mazdaspeed out there. Depending how you look at it, it could only be the coolest because it was factory with a turbo, but everywhere you look, everybody's Miata's got a turbo in it now. So is it that special? Not too sure. To me it is, you know, but I love Mazdaspeed, so they're all special to me. But now we go like a year later, 2005 or 2006. Terrible shifting. So now we go about a year later to 2006. Here we are with the Speed 6. Now I think I already told you guys enough about this car. Mazda's first all-wheel drive sedan, turbocharged 2.3 liter direct injected 4-cylinder. You know, honestly believe this is Mazda's coolest car. It's not really being biased. Well, I guess it is, but I think it's being, I'm also thinking as somebody that just enjoys all-wheel drive cars more than front-wheel drive cars. I'm just can't get with a front-wheel drive car, man. Especially because I live in an area that it snows and they just look stupid. Every time I see a front wheel drive car struggling, it looks so dumb. But like, I'd rather have a, like, it doesn't look cool. It looks like it's struggling to do everything. Then again, that's just me, and no hate to the Speed 3 for that. Like, I honestly, if I could, I would own a Speed 3 just for summer driving, but even then I would get a Miata over a Speed 3. I can't. But that's to each his own, you know. Speed 3 is a cool car. I love the Speed 3. It was awesome when my father owned one, but you can't go wrong with an all-wheel drive car, man. You get everything. You get everything in this car. So, you know, I basically told you all about this car. I don't think there's much more I need to tell you. I mean, I can tell you more about my car specifically, but that'll be another video as well. But now we move on to the first gen Mazdaspeed 3. Now that car was insane. That car had torque steer the same as the second gen. However, it didn't have the technology to help control that torque steer. So you really had to be a very conscious driver when you put your foot down in that car. That car was the definition of raw, just raw power, straight to the wheels. It had less power than this car, not by much, about 10 horsepower, 12 horsepower, something like that. It was the difference. But same exact torque, 280 pound-feet of torque directly to the front wheels. Now, that's just, like, some people may say idiotic or evil genius. Probably a mix of both. It definitely not ideal. That's why you see, like, Honda with the Type R, it's less horsepower than it does torque. I think that's also why it feels less fun. Mazda put that giant smile on the front of the car for a reason. That torque steer makes you smile, man. I don't think I've ever seen one person say, ugh, torque steer is so uncontrollable and irritating. I'm pretty sure there are people that said that, but I've never run into one, and I've never heard somebody say that. It seems like everybody that gets that torque steer, they always end up with a nice laugh. You know, they're having a good time with that car, and that's the whole point. And you can mod that car to be faster. So, you know, but then again, do you want to spend the money, or do you want to buy a car that's already fast? There's a whole other conversation. That splits the car community into two groups, in my opinion. But we can also talk about that some other time. Now, the last car in the Mazdaspeed lineup that we're getting to is now the second gen Mazdaspeed 3. And that's just the coolest looking Speed 3 you can get. Came with a hood scoop. Now, I really wish Mazda, technically my car has a hood scoop, but it's underneath the hood. It's an underneath hood scoop. You know, I'll show you one day. I'll pop the hood, but it's not anything crazy. I honestly don't think enough airflow is getting into the top mount intercooler. That's another thing Mazda did. They made a top mount intercooler. The only thing I'm happy about having a top mount intercooler is that here you need a license plate in the front. It's the law. And I am not putting one of those side mounted license plates. I think that looks ugly as hell. And I do not want to put a license plate on my window, because that's just stupid. So having a top mount intercooler and not having a license plate blocking the front grille, that's pretty good. Problem is, I don't think I'm getting enough airflow in there. It looks like there's a lot of airflow going in there. The way they have it set up to be right on top of the intercooler when you close the hood, have the channel for the air, it goes directly down and into the top mount intercooler. So it looks like it works. I'm just not totally convinced. I honestly think just a hood scoop would have worked. But I also understand why they didn't do it, because they also wanted it to have that mature look they were trying to look like BMW, and they kind of did that, you know. With a hood scoop, it would have looked, I guess, to Mazda, immature. Too WRX-y, too Evo-y, you know, which is not what they wanted to go for, even though they kind of did go for that. I don't know. Mazda they tried to do too much with this car, I think, and clearly it worked. This car is so nice. This car is so nice, man. But with the Speed 3, they went all in. I don't know when the hatchback WRX STI came out with the hood scoop, and Mazda was like, all right, we're going after you. And they put a hood scoop on their car. They put a wing on the rear trunk lid. They went all in with the design. They were like, we're gonna make a track happy car for all these track happy people. And yeah, we're gonna go after Subaru. So that was finally Mazda putting their foot down, and they did a good job. However, it was essentially the same car from 2007, the first gen, just with a body kit essentially, and technology to help steer the car, control the car, and all the good stuff, all the modern day amenities you were getting back in 2010 to 2013. And that was about it. The WRX STI still won with overall power and had all-wheel drive. So at the end of the day, Mazda wasn't really going after them, but they made it look like they were. I guess that was good enough for them. That was good enough for the Mazda community, for sure. Everybody's happy with the Speed 3. Now, in my opinion, should they bring back Mazdaspeed? Of course. Of course. Look at what all these other car companies are doing. When I say all these other, I mean Hyundai with their N models. You got Toyota, they're going insane with their GR their lineup, their GR lineup. They're coming out with that GT GR. That thing looks insane. And Honda with the Type R. You know, I don't know if the Type R is still going strong, but all of Honda's Type cars, their Type S, their Type R, their even the SI is not a Type car, but it's a performance car, you know. Well, as performance as the SI can get. This car's still more powerful than the SI. I don't understand what they're going for with that. It's front wheel drive too. It's all right. I'm hating a little bit too much, but you know what I mean. If Mazdaspeed were to make this car, or not this car, but if Mazdaspeed were to come back, I have a few ideas on what it would be today, but I kind of want to get into that in another video. Not really today. But yeah, so that's Mazdaspeed's history. Honestly, wish it was longer. Wish they came out with more. But we do have to remember Mazda is a very small car company compared to the other ones I just mentioned. They've always been the underdog. That makes them the coolest car company, in my opinion. And we can never forget that Mazda created the best sports car to ever exist in the Miata. I don't care what you say, you can go argue with a wall, because the stats don't lie. The Mazda Miata is the best-selling sports car ever made and is loved around the world, and I want one. So I'll end it there. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you're back for the next one, and yeah, peace out.